We are on.
Welcome.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks for coming in.
No dramas.
In these uncertain times.
Yeah, a bit of a spontaneous couple
bring
of
that
days before.
a bit closer.
Yeah,
a couple of days before, yeah.
Straight in here.
I know, a couple of days we might not even be able to do this.
Well, that's it, mate. Interesting times at the moment. So.
Conference calls.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I might have to do them by conference call, Jace.
That's an idea.
Oh, fuck.
Skype.
It'll piss me off.
Oh, yeah, fucking
I'll just walk away from it. But I know, I listened to a podcast, a portion of it, I didn't get to see the whole lot that you had with another guy.
Yeah.
I thought this is an interesting cat. I've also followed you on social media for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
You're fucking relentless.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
So I thought you got a pretty cool story, and I'm sure we can dive into it, and I'm sure you'll be able to sort of let me know where it starts. So you to me, you strike me as an everyday person. You know, you see people on social media, and you also see people doing things and exercising and achieving things, and you put them on sort of a semi pedestal.
100%, yeah.
And you put them up there. You, to me, aren't that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can take that offensively or not.
100%, man. And I, to be honest, that's the biggest compliment I've ever had.
Yeah.
That's exactly...
You just seem like someone like me.
100%, man. And I am. And we all are. And that's the thing. And I think social media can sometimes sensationalise people, and make them... You always see the good, Some people show the bad, but the majority don't. But I think...
The majority don't, man.
But the main purpose of why I put all that kind of stuff out there as well is to, because now, because I've done certain things that people would say that are extraordinary compared to normal people, that now you can get to this place where some people will start trying to treat me different, but then you just go, hang on a sec, just scroll down if you're looking on social media and see where I started, And I think just having that connection with, because we're all the fucking same, really. But like you said, some people hold people in higher esteem or whatever, can obviously make people realise that they have more inside themselves, mate. And that's kind of, how I realised,
Well, it's especially because you see your stuff you're doing every day. I mean, you don't post necessarily about work. Yeah. But you're going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to work every day.
And it's like...
Work today, worked every day.
Makes me feel...
Not only that, man, I go to work, I go pick my daughter up from kindy, I spend time with my daughter, I put her to bed, I'll have something to eat. But... I've got to be accountable to myself, man, and I still get it in because we've all got 24 hours in a day, and at this current climate, it sounds like we're going to have a hell of a lot more time on our hands than we usually fucking do. So
well, and also like, I don't know if you notice it, you've probably got a less of a tolerance too for people who find excuses for what they do. Yeah, like because I'm very good at it.
Yeah,
like I can do it really well if I want to. Yeah, I'm working on not, mate. But I can be really good at it.
100%.
And it's like, when you see people like yourself going out there and doing the 4 o'clock rides and the 4 o'clock runs and you're like, oh fuck.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like I've got fucking millions of excuses. I had them this morning. Yeah. It was wet, rainy, everything. But yet none of them were good enough. You just decipher through
for that. You? None of them were good enough for you?
For me, I guess, and the same thing, man. Like that's why I put stuff up when I'm training. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here. And that's genuine. Like I literally so many times. But once you do something over and over again, you get to a point where I can put myself in the position of the next morning or later that night how I'm going to feel, and that far exceeds, putting the shoes on or doing whatever
That's a secret trap. That's a trick almost, isn't it? Because I always, if I've told myself I'm doing something in the morning and I don't do it, the entire day, I'm pissed at myself.
You've just regretted it the whole fucking day rather than just doing it, and then you'd be stoked.
Yeah, stoked the whole day.
But we all do it, I still do it from time to time. I try very hard not to, and I was just thinking on the way here about injuries and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, you gotta have a rest, and if I'm injured, right, there's a fine line between letting yourself get away with an injury and I can make you believe it. You don't know, like, oh, I'm fucking sore. Yep. But I got to live with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. You got to get to the point where it's not acceptable for yourself. You got to hold yourself in a high esteem and high integrity and obviously expect that from yourself and nothing less, because you'll always let me get away with it. My trainer will always, accept an excuse that I make up. But when I put my head on the pillow at night, I've got to live with it, Yeah. And if you're comfortable with living with the excuses, then you're never ever going to get to any kind of potential that you could be.
I heard a guy, have you heard of Jocko Willink?
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
Just watch you sing on there every Monday, with his fucking...
Oh, I don't know if
every Monday he puts like a video up in the shadows and just like...
Oh, does he?
Real raw.
He's
and
gnarly,
he's like,
dude.
Get after it.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, man.
But I heard him say once, if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do it, tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do it this morning, but I'm going to give myself the next morning off.
Yeah.
Like I feel like shit, I'm just going to get up this morning and then I'm going to give myself the next morning off.
Yeah.
But make sure you get up, because it what it does is encourages you to be able to talk yourself out of it in the morning.
Yeah.
So if you like wake up and say, no, I'm going to do it this morning, tomorrow morning I'm going to have off, and he goes, then by the next morning, you're like, you don't need this morning off. You just were looking for an excuse inside your mind to
100%
have another crack at it.
And that's the same. Like I'll lie to myself, especially on running. Like running's not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, things I've done will be, speak to the contrary of that. But it's not my favorite thing. You know, so if I got to do, like I did a half marathon on Sunday, right? If like Sunday was all right, the week before I did 30 Ks, and I did not want to get up to run at all, right? So I just lied to myself as much as I could to, hey, we'll just do a K or we'll just do 2, and then that's it, you know what I mean? So whatever I could do to lie to myself to get there and get the shoes on, and then you get going, and then you start going, all right, now we're further away from the house, and then you start fucking talking yourself into, hang on a second, we're doing 30 or we're going to do 40, and you can start to kind of push that voice of, bitchness, I guess I'd call it.
Yeah. Seems like there should be a better name. Seems like there should be a good name for your little voice inside your head.
I think we've all got it. We all have it, you know what I mean? But it's just about how much you listen to it and how much you let it overtake your mind, because we've all got the same control. We just don't. Some of us don't realise it, you know what I mean? Some of us truly don't realise it.
I think some of us think that you're in complete control of your mind.
Yep.
Which no one really is.
Definitely not.
And it's a weird feeling to think that your mind isn't in control of your mind.
No.
Like, it's
exactly right.
You almost feel like a schizophrenic, because you're thinking,
I've
got this weird little back and forth between my mind.
You do.
And I've got this little bitch over here that's not telling me I should do it, but then I've got this part that really wants to do it. And it's almost like, I had Trevor Hendy in here, and he was saying that as well, like, about meditation. When you almost sit there and think, you're sort of allowing yourself to think about that part of your mind
100%.
And separate yourself.
Yep.
And I feel like that's the same thing. It's like figuring out that you've got your main mind. I'm on the fly here. You got your main mind, and then you got the all different versions of your mind hanging around it, and you choose which one you're going to listen to.
Definitely.
And which one's appropriate for that time.
Yeah. And I think, like, you're right. They all speak to each other, like not fucking being crazy in that, but we do. We've got all these parts of your mind, and some of them are the comfortable one. We want to be comfortable, and our mind's smart, right? So our mind wants us to be safe. It wants us to be warm. It doesn't want us to hurt, feel the pain of exercise sometimes. It doesn't want us to be put out in the elements to do that, because it's trying to protect us, what it thinks protect us, right?
Yeah.
But then you've got another part of your mind that everyone knows to get to anywhere of any success, you have to go through suffering, and you've got to go through, arduous tasks every single day. Consistently.
Do you think everyone knows?
I think deep down everyone knows, man. Deep down. Like there's no one that can sit here and say that they're the best version of themselves by doing absolutely fuck all. And I don't just mean exercise. I mean whatever chosen field you do, whatever hobby you have, whatever, if you're an artist, if you want to be an author and stuff like that, if you're not putting the time in every single day, and you can honestly say, I mean, there are some pretty fucking
I think some people put it so far behind in the back of their minds.
Deep down. And I think,
deep down. Fucking deep.
Deep down. And I think that only gets realised when you sit down and have the conversation with yourself. Yep. And I think with the way that world is, we've got the phones, we've got, kids, we've got everything. Out of those 24 hours, when do you get time to sit down and listen to your thoughts? Unless you regularly meditate, stuff like that, right? And a lot of that stuff's about just being present in order to be able to hear those thoughts, the important ones, rather than just, I meditated this morning, you know what I mean? And I'm getting used to trying to, decipher my thoughts and think about, being present, stuff like that. All I got out of it was this, and then we'll bring back to the room, and I fucking fell asleep. I didn't get anything out of it, because it's practice. You got to do it consistently. So I don't think anyone that has actually sat there and had the actual conversation with themselves can say that, everything just comes.
Is that where it started? Everything started for you, was having that conversation with yourself?
I think that's where a turning point was. A major turning point was the point that, unfortunately, a lot of people probably say the same thing that have been in my position, that I had to hit my rock bottom, total rock bottom, before I would realise that it was either me that would get me out of it, or I wouldn't be here. I'd find an easier way out, which is what gets you to getting to rock bottom the majority of the time is, well, in my instance, was making the easy choices. The drugs, the alcohol, the shit food, the lack of exercise. All that shit was easy, you know? And it masks my problems, but not realising that it was making my problems 10 times worse. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was unfortunately, I had to get to that point, and everything kind of fell apart, you know. My missus left, you know, the company I was working for went under, you know, I was 26, 27 kilos overweight, and, you know, I really had no choice. I wanted to avoid that conversation with myself at all costs. Yeah. Like, you know, we don't want to, because we know what we're going to hear. Yeah. We're going to hear the fucking truth. You know what I mean? Well, if you're not hearing the truth, it's not the real conversation that you're having. You know, you hear that truth and you tell yourself, like, you know, I was telling myself, you know, you're a mess, you're a fat piece of shit, you're addicted to drugs, you're a shit dad, all this stuff. Not trying to put myself down, but I'm being honest, man. I'm being dead set honest with myself.
Well, that was what you were.
Yes, that's what I was. And on top of that, the only reason that I was that is why. Not because of you, not because of my missus, not because of my job, not because of my circumstance. It could have been, and it was, and that's why I was where I was, because I didn't take responsibility for it and realise the only person that put themselves into that position was this fucking bloke right here. Yeah. But in that, once you realise it, I've said it before, you have to take ownership of where you are, because if I'm the only one that got myself into this place, then I'm truly the only one that can get myself out of it. And once I had that realisation, it was like a light bulb moment. I just was like, fuck. Like, I can turn this around if I want to, if I really want to. And, you know, talk.
That's a release too, isn't it? Because you're like, oh, well, I'm to blame. But hey, I'm here ready to rock, ready to
go. And then from that, you go, okay, what do I want? You have that conversation with yourself after you've obviously, you know, got to the point of accepting everything is, you know, because of your actions and your choices. And then you really start listening. What do I want? You know, what did I want at that time when that happened? You know, I always wanted to have a comeback fight. I've done Muay Thai for 15 years. You know? And the last 2 fights I lost, and I carried that around with myself. And as I got bigger and that, I was like getting on the piss, and that used to be guy, you know what I mean? Man, like, remember when you did that? Like, and I'm like, fuck, remember when you fucking did that, you know, when you did, like, not what you're doing, you know? And I think just with my own self, I wanted to come back and prove to myself that I had what it took to get back to where I needed to be, right? And, you know, back to level playing field, really, and then take it from there. And that's kind of where the journey, you know, to change my life all started, I guess.
So as for a conversation with yourself, what did that look like? Like, because I envision people in similar circumstances. There'd be a lot in similar circumstances as what you're in. How does that sort of conversation start? It's going, right, well, I'm the one that's got to fix it. But, you know, you say you have a conversation with yourself. When I think that, do you sit down, close your eyes and go, fuck, what do I want? Or is it like a writing out a list of things that you are and the list of things you want to be? How did that look like for you? Because it's all well and good saying,
you have
I had a conversation with myself. What did you do? Just sit in your car before
basically, what it looked like for me was sitting alone in my apartment at Royal Pines there, crying hysterically in fucking tears. Not actually knowing how to decipher all these thoughts and feelings and everything, from just losing my family to taking ownership, and that fucking hurt even more when I realised it was me and I wish I didn't, and blah blah blah. You know, you let it all get out, and then you think to yourself, okay, what am I going to do about this, right? So how can I change this, right? For me, it was going to see somebody. I went and seen a psychologist named Cliff Batley, and I talk openly about him. He's a fucking legend of a bloke, because I'm not trained in how to deal with these thoughts and what to do with them. So what do you do if you don't know how to do exercise at the gym? You get a PT to show you how to do those exercises.
Right? Exactly.
With our body, with learning how to do new tasks. Yet the most important thing that we have is our fucking mind. And so many of us don't go to somebody that can show us what to do with what's going on in our mind. Right? You know, and to the point, you know, some blokes even shun it. I don't need fucking help and blah, 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 you know. When, so I thought, you know, I don't really know what to do with all these thoughts swarming around inside my head, but what I do need is I need to go and see someone to decipher all these things. So that's what I did, right? I went and saw Cliff. You know, I started going a couple of times a week. He got me to do certain things, like you said, you know, like I didn't know where to start. So what do you want? What does that look like? Write it down, you know, start writing down goals and what I want. As small as you want, you know, like get out of bed every fucking day at 5 o'clock to your Everest, I was calling it, you know, some
Yep.
shit that you could never even imagine of doing, you know. So I sat down and wrote all that, you know, started writing, you know, because, and I go on about it, to get in the car to get here today, what did I do? I typed in the destination.
Yeah.
And then it gave me the directions on how to get here. Life's the same. You
Yeah.
can't be expected to get to somewhere where you don't even know where you're fucking going.
Yeah.
You know, and
Seems so
it's
simple, doesn't
simple,
it? But nobody
you
thinks
know,
like
but
that.
we don't like.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go around for like 40 years. And you end up in this job that you hate. And you're like, I didn't want to fucking be here. And it's like, well, yes, you did, because you didn't know where you wanted to go in the first place. So you're exactly where you meant to be. Yeah. So I started writing down what I wanted. A big thing was, you know, stay drug and alcohol free. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I was just like any of the boys, mate. Yeah, and still that's the thing. People think I've changed. Mate, that urge will never go. I see that bottle of Jameson behind your right shoulder.
Yeah.
I love that shit. I used to fucking love it. Red wine, I love it still.
Yeah.
Like the urge is there, but it's like I know what's on the other side of that, you know, now, you know. So
Because it'll be if you were to go back to that portion, would you feel like you'd let yourself completely down? And then does it, you know, like, and then does it become a spiral where you're like, I've already like,
and this is the thing, like same with diet, same with everything.
Yeah.
We essentially set fire to the barn. So instead of just going, fuck, put it out while you can, you fuck, what do? You douse the whole thing. You know, I'll burn the fucking thing down, then we'll worry about it tomorrow when you can nip it in the bud.
Yep.
Obviously, there's not, like, you start, for me, not to go back to alcohol, just for me, and that's the thing. If people can drink and only have 2 and sweet, that's cool. I can't. I'm an excessive kind of dude, extreme kind of guy.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, I don't like to fucking just have a beer. You know, I'm getting smashed and whatever. But would I feel like I let myself down? Yeah, 100%. So that's why I like try every day in every situation not to, man, you know. And it still creeps up on you. It fucking comes from behind, Christmas time and that. Like you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, New Year's, everything.
But you start to get a little bit more resilient, I guess. But you can never get too comfortable for it to think that you're away from whatever that vice is. You could be food or pokies or fucking anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I guess started writing down what I wanted, right? And I just made the decision, like when I was writing it down, like, you know, we talk a big game, but when it's game time, fucking few are there to show up, you know. And I just thought, I'll do whatever it fucking takes to do this, you know. Started with the main goals, you know. I wanted to lose 5 kilos, you know, from 101 or whatever to, you know, 76. So, 25 kilos. So what did that look like, you know? And a lot of people ask, especially with weight loss, like, oh, how long did it take, man? Or da-da-da. If you're asking them questions, you really don't fucking want it bad enough. If you want it bad, it takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be quick, depending on what work you put in, you know? And how disciplined you are. And I think discipline's a character that you build every day. And I continue to build it every day because I've had these bad habits for like 15, 16 years. And like 2 years, I've had these good habits. The bad habits are still fucking way outweighing the good ones. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm never going to be free of, you know, not just alcohol and doing bad shit, but also going back to, you know, the way that I was, because I've had this idea and opportunity, you know, arisen in my head that it's hard to go back to think in the way that I used to think. You know what I mean? So
I think with people too, when they start a goals list or they write stuff down, they think from get go, I need to get up at 4, I'm going to run 20 k's per day every morning, and they give themselves these stringent like goals to make that are 100%. So insurmountable. And then you end up after 1 week, you're like, I'm done with this.
Definitely.
Instead of just slowly adding little often.
Definitely.
And so, you know, I just finished a book going on about Atomic Habits.
Yeah, right. And I've heard of that. I haven't read it.
Oh, it sounds like you'd thrive on it. But it's like little things you add. A little thing here, a little thing there, because it's more the mental side of habits and how you form them and how you trick yourself basically into staying with those habits and what you associate with each thing you do.
100%.
It's really, really interesting. Yeah. And the biggest one with that is like compounding your habits. So you have a small habit, lots and lots and lots of small habits. So say you have no money whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. No money whatsoever. I give you $1.
100%.
And I give you another $1. And I keep giving you dollars. At what point do you become rich?
Yeah.
You know, you became rich by being given $1. If you set a standard like at this many I'm going to be rich.
Yep.
Well, then it took $1 to make you rich.
100%, man.
And that's what it comes to the habits, and like you're saying, the deposits. Each little thing, just make this massive thing that you now have.
Yeah, a massive outcome at the end, you know. And as long as you're aware of that, like, you get to the point where you're like, I'm just going to do whatever it is. It could be, it's better than nothing, you know what I mean? Because it all does add up. And that's the thing. It's being realistic with your goals. Have the big fucking ones there and the Everest ones there, right?
Yeah.
But have the little ones, man.
Because that gives you the direction to point your goals into.
Yeah, have the little ones, you know? Like for me, when I was running, it was the gym's just in Leader Drive, next to us. So I used to go Leader Drive, out, take a left, down past the old toll and that, come back. It was 2.8 Ks. That's where I started. The first one that I did back, when I was coming back to train, I had to stop twice on the run. Yeah. Heaving and fucking wheezing and fucking just looking like a mess, man. You know? Yeah. But I kept doing that every day until I could do the 3K, which is an extra 200 metres, and then the 4K, and then build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. And you got to be content with the process, you know, because nothing good or worthwhile ever come fucking easy, man. You know what I mean? Like, if, like, back in the time, if you just had a pill that just had the easy road and you'd lose it all, you'd lose, and you took it, you'd lose all the character that you built to get to that destination, you know what I mean? You build that and you strengthen that, and then you earn your spot wherever that is, you know, that you are. You earn that, and the pride that you get from that.
Well, that's why so many people that win lotto lose all their money.
100%.
Because they didn't earn that money.
No,
it was given to them. Yep. They don't have the wherewithal and the character that built that money.
Exactly right.
To be able to keep it.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why they say the rich get rich, the poor get poorer, the fat get fatter. It's because momentum. It's momentum. The momentum that you create, and that momentum is started by all these little habits, you know. So when life's really, really bad and you can't, you know, you got to stop that momentum first. So it takes a vast amount of energy just to stop it. Yeah. And then push that fucking ball, I guess, back and back and back until you grow that momentum till that thing's just flying, and you've just got to keep at it, you know. And
also a big thing I've noticed with what you post, as well as your failures too,
100%
are a big, really important part of the process. Yeah, because everyone thinks that every race you enter, you finish, and you finish it strongly.
100%, man. And I'm a massive advocate for that, because failure's got such a negative connotation to it, because it's what you do with that failure. If you stop at it, it's a failure. Yeah. But in the failures that I've had and I put up, it's a failure. But I fucking know I'm coming back to do it again. Simple. Yeah. And if I don't do it again, I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. So as long as you have that in your mind, no matter what, it's okay to fail. And I like to put my failures up, man. Yeah. And to the point where people will comment and be like, oh, what? You fucking took this long? And I'm like, yeah, bro. It was a fucking shit night.
Yeah.
Some, you know, let's liken it to
from
playing,
the couch.
Yeah. Playing pool or playing golf. You know, some days you're fucking Tiger Woods and you're fucking shit hot, and then other days you just fucking suck. Yep. Same with doing anything, man. Like, you could be a footy player or an Iron Man or a fighter, you know. Some days you're just on and you can see every punch and you can move and da-da. And some days you're a lump of fucking lead and you just get your ass handed to you. Yeah. You know, it's knowing that you can't be fucking Superman every day that allows you to be okay with when it's not. Because, you know, I think a lot of people take failure so badly because they're embarrassed to post it, or like, you know, you generally want to know how people went in certain things, and then they haven't put anything up and you know how it went, you know. You know, which is sad, because we as a society have obviously created this, that it's not okay to show your failures, you know, but it's what you do with them, you know, that counts really.
And that's probably a lot of your relatability. Yeah. You know, if you're a lot more relatable because you put those up.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, if you put those up, then that's who you are and that's what's happening, and that's...
Yeah. Anyone that'll tell you otherwise is fucking full of shit, or they fucking know something that we all don't fucking know.
Very strange. I mean?
And that's with anything, no matter how high a sportsman or whatever, they all have failures, man.
That's the shit thing about, like, fighting. Like, for example, like, you can only fight how many times a year? Well, it'll be a busy year, like 4 or 5. That'd be a pretty busy year, maybe 6 times. Yep. See, you got to wait months and months and months before you can rectify that loss. Yeah, you don't. Whereas with running, you get up again and have another crack 100%. The next morning.
Or playing footy next week. Next week. That's exactly right. You can have 4 shit games in a row, but that 5th one, you're back on. Yeah, man. And then everyone forgets about it, you know what I mean? So,
apart from the people who had a shit round last round. Yeah. Then they've got like a year to wait.
Yeah, well, that's it, Because it's all over at the moment,
You'd be spewing, wouldn't you, if you had a shit round last round? You're like, fuck, I've got that in my head for the rest of these.
Yeah, bro.
All the off-season, the new off-season. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, it's about owning your failures, and also I think the biggest thing with anything that you do, only compare you to you. Yeah. Because if you don't, you're never going to be good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I compare myself to myself, you know, how I've progressed, and if I was to compare myself to like Elliot Kipchoge or whatever, I'm never going to be fucking good enough.
Is that Kenyan runner?
The dude that ran an under 2 hour marathon. Like, fuck me, I'm doing like 3 hours and fucking 20 minutes. Like, you're never going to be good enough. So it's important to not compare yourself to anyone but you. And we all like to say that we don't care what other people think, but 99% of the time, people do care what other people think. You know what I mean?
It's good in theory.
Yeah, in theory, it's a good saying. Again, and I go back to talk and then implication. You know, if you implement that in your own life, as you know, you give congratulations to people, but you don't measure yourself on their success or what you deem as their success, because for all you know, they don't have the same idea of themselves as you have of them, you know. So it's important just to compare you to you, progress in your own way. Everything worth doing, like we said, takes time, and be expected for it to take a long fucking time. You know what I mean? Well,
I think also what people do, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is people put all of these ideologies on themselves. Lots of them, like what the buzzword now has been a vegan or a vegetarian, meat eater, religions, all their opinions towards things, and they put themselves inside all these boxes, and when they realise one of those boxes is full of shit, it's really hard to get out of it.
They pigeonhole
themselves in this, and then they almost double down. They almost go, oh, I've just figured out that vegan probably not for me, but I'm committed to this now, and it's a sense of embarrassment to get out of that way.
Yeah, definitely.
And you should almost feel like you should have these really, if you've got rock solid things you want to be with, stay with those rock solid things, but be flexible in everything that moves around it, 100%. And not be afraid to be like, I've really tried that lately. Like, I'll have an opinion on something, whether it be religion or, like, I'm not super religious at all.
I'm not at all, mate.
But I think that there's room for other things to come into my life.
Definitely.
So I'm not going to say, like, for a while there I'd say I'm agnostic, atheist, basically. I just do not believe in anything, but that's a pretty arrogant way of looking at 100%. It, because how do you fucking know that there's nothing else out there?
Exactly.
So I'm more open to the fact there could be, you know. So I've tried changing those little things in my life to be not so stringent on these one things. I've got about 4 things that I'm real staunch on, and I'm committed to them. But also I'm committed to them and I believe in them, but I'm also very nervous that they might not be right, in the sense that I'll have to give them up one day. So I'm also staunch with them, but I'm not that might not make sense, but I'm staunch with them, but I'm also willing to get rid of them if you come to me with a better opinion on it.
100%. And that's being open-minded, mate. That's having an open-minded
but I feel like people say they're open-minded,
100%,
but then they
all the time
aren't really. Like,
100%. You know?
Then they've got this massive opinion on one thing.
I'm open-minded, but I was just having a conversation with someone about what's going on today. They're open-minded, but I'm going to hang up on you because you're not agreeing with exactly what I said. But I'm open-minded to your opinion, and you're allowed to have your opinion. And that goes for, like, when we see people on TV or whatever, saying detrimental things to fucking our society or terrorism and stuff like that. You can't say you want freedom of speech and want this and want that. Then when something happens that you don't like let's say something real bad like terrorism, and they're talking about blowing us up, they're talking about it. We don't like it, but we can't not let them say that, because then that just goes against what we've said that we're going to do, and that's apply freedom of speech to every human being. We may not like it, and that's what an open-mindedness is. Not liking someone's opinion, but being able to try and take it on board and not having the ego is up, and you go, nah, I'm right. This cunt's fucking wrong. Nah. Having the open-mindedness to actually kind of think on the fly and start to process what they're saying, and then it might change your mind, for the better.
Did you used to be like that a lot more?
I don't think so. No,
you've always been.
No, I think earlier on, man, I was just a fucking know-it-all little shit that fucking I
think everybody said too.
If I didn't like what you said, what are you fucking talking about? 100%. I think it's something that you learn. You know? And it's something.
So it's something you thought this whole process you've been through has helped it.
Yeah,
probably,
definitely.
It's something you probably were heading to just with age anyway.
Well, some say that, but I know a lot of fucking old people that I used to work for with on the job site that are just closed-minded and that's cool. Everything's all right if you're happy with that. So your happiness and my happiness are two different things. I can not agree with someone, but if they're happy, man, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I just wasn't happy with where I was and what I was doing, so I needed to make a massive change, and that was changing all facets of myself. And
did you get any blowback on that
from
people who were part of your old life and didn't want you to be different, or maybe it showed vulnerabilities in them?
100%, and I did. Well, directly a couple of times, indirectly through other channels from other mates telling me, and it's about, I know that me doing good or me bettering myself can't possibly affect you in a negative way. So all that it's doing is bringing things up within you that you haven't addressed yet, that me doing what I'm doing makes you feel like you aren't doing what you know you should be doing. So that's why the old misery likes company. You want to make me feel the way you do. So I understand that, you know, and I don't not like those people for it. They just haven't realised yet. And to be quite honest with you, there's about 2 or 3 that have since a couple of years later come back and apologised and said, look, man, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
And I just said, yeah, man, it's all good. I was waiting for you to say that, you know, which is, you know.
You just needed time. That's
you just need time to think. And it's, again, like, you say you don't give a fuck what other people think. It's a perfect example, man. Like, I feel sorry that that me doing good has brought something up within you, but hopefully that will make you go after whatever it is that you've been yearning for, that this has brought up for you. You know, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So. I saw a little thing the other day, a meme, and it was a cocoon and a butterfly.
Yeah.
And it was, a caterpillar and a butterfly. Yeah. And the caterpillar saying to the butterfly, oh, you know, you've changed. And the butterfly's like, well, we were meant to.
Yes.
Like, you're meant to.
Exactly right.
And I think a lot of people, you're dead right about that, though. It does bring up insecurities in themselves.
Yeah, but you're dead right as well, man. And when people like, you've changed, that also, like the failure, kind of has a negative aspect to it. And people are like, oh, no, I fucking haven't. I owned it. And a compliment, I'm like, fucking oath, I've changed. I've changed everything but my name. Yeah. Everything but my name I've changed. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
you know? It doesn't mean that... you know, I can't be, you know, I'm still mates with all my mates, you know, the majority of them, you know, besides even now the ones that have apologised, whatever, and I still see them and we still hang out. Just real mates understand where I used to be, and they don't want to see me go back to where I was.
Exactly. So, they just want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And if they're not wanting you to be happy, it either A, they're just a piece of shit, or B, they're just not secure in themselves.
And you can't be afraid to outgrow people as well, mate.
Yeah.
You know, it's, unfortunately, we are on different paths, and if you're going this way and everyone else is staying that way, you've got to accept that to a degree. You know, doesn't mean you don't like each other. You just, if you want to go anywhere with yourself or hit your goals, you need to be able to do that shit with tunnel vision. That's it.
Another thing in that book, the Atomic Habits book, my favourite book, it was the trajectory from Heathrow Airport to LAX. If you change it 3 degrees, it puts you in Washington.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know America very well, but that seems like quite far away.
Yeah.
So it's the thing, like, people don't realise you just change that one tact or that one thing, and it's exponentially different at the other end.
Exactly right.
You know, it's crazy to think. And you're a pretty good example of that too.
Well, that's it. And I think it's, you know, we all have something else inside us. It's just hopefully,
Fuck, now I've got to go for a run in the morning.
Well, yeah, or whatever. Or like
I'm going to do 10 sit-ups in the morning now.
And that's the thing. This whole thing isn't just based off fitness. It's the same characteristics of built, right? You know, if I'm up at fucking 3:40 this morning, it was pissing down rain, I didn't want to fucking do it. You know, I should have wore a rain jacket. I didn't. I wore a long sleeve, thank fuck. And I was out there and no one else was out there, right? You know, and I had good bits, I had shit bits. But when I got back, do you think that I just got back and then at work I just slumped in my chair and did nothing? No.
Yeah.
How you do anything is how you do everything, right? So the characteristics that you build by doing shit with yourself, you're going to apply those to the podcast. You're going to be fucking killing it at the podcast. You're not going to just be killing it in one side and then just an absolute fucking loser in the other. So it's all translative.
It's that momentum thing again.
It's the momentum, and it's just everything intertwines and everything translates. You know.
Have you noticed that in your work as well? You're more focused.
100%. I noticed that at Monday morning when I go up to the head office in Brisbane, that by 9 o'clock I get to the coffee room and I see someone fucking sliming in, fucking feeling sorry for them. You can
still waking up.
You just know they want to talk to you about problems or what's going on. So you do, and you're like, hey mate, and you've already been at the office since 6, done all these emails. You've already got the jump on everyone else, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and the feeling that you get knowing that you've already got the head start, you know, you can't really describe it. It's just...
Oh, it's great. Like I know times when I've gotten up early and done stuff.
Yeah.
Like you almost walk around like with a loaded gun. You know, you walk around
100%.
thinking, and it might be an ego thing, but you're like, oh, I'm already one
You've
step
got an edge
ahead.
on the day.
You see the world waking up, and you're already fresh and sort of ready for Smoko.
Yeah, definitely, man. 100%. Everyone loves a fucking Smoko.
Everyone should. More people should.
So
what's a day like for you now? Like you got a pretty intense. You'd have a pretty intense schedule.
Yeah. Pretty, I guess the schedule. So the schedule is life, right? And then the training schedule gets kind of made around that schedule, whatever's happening. Yeah. So like you said, if you go, I got to do this on this and do this on this at these certain times, we all know that things change and life changes, especially when you put kids in the mix. and then you're like, well, I'm just not going to do it. So I'm open. It's open slather the 7 days, right? I usually want to do a certain number of things, but how I do that is however I do it. But I just got to hold myself accountable to. I
was going to say that seems like a slippery slope for a procrastinator.
Yeah, well, it can be. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard because I trained Thai boxing for so long. Love it. Still fucking love it to this day. At 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock, 5 days a week, sparring 9 a.m. You know, you got to be on these rigid timelines, which is cool, you know, but then you add a kid in the mix, so it's easy to go, I can't do it anymore because I can't be there at that time. What I've found is that it doesn't matter when you do the work as long as you get the work done, you know. It can be a slippery slope if you're a procrastinator, but I mean, if you're not going to change, you're not going to change anyway. So it's kind of something that you've got to start. And I think it's just everyone's individual, you know. So it's like you might work better by doing it in the morning and not being able to do it after a big day, or you might work better doing it after a big day and you have a bit of a slow morning, you know. However that looks for you, and that, again, it's individualized. You know, just like the diets and all that kind of shit, like, you know, is how it gets done. But my schedule, you know, I usually like to do 3 of each discipline what I do, and we kind of, you know, most days I can if there's nothing that comes up, I know what I'm going to do, you know. Like this morning was going to be a ride. It's going to be at least an hour and a half or an hour to an hour and a half ride, you know. And then I don't usually train Tuesday afternoons. It's usually an half hour with the family and stuff like that. So.
And then you back engineer it from there. You got to be at work at 7 or 6, or then you can go, well, I need to be up by this time, and
or like,
that's just how it has to be. Yeah,
sometimes I've had to be on site in Caboolture, which is like 2 and a bit hours from here. So what do? I got to go for a swim in the morning. Google, there's a Caboolture pool, fucking beautiful. Opens at 5, done. Leave my house at 3, get up there when it opens, get the swim in, get to site. There's always time, you know what I mean? And if there's not time, you know there is. You know?
Yeah, it's that accountable thing. If there's always time, there's always time.
So to bring you back from to a little while ago when we were talking about when I was writing down the goals, right?
Yeah.
You say, where do you go from there, right? So after you've wrote them down, the next most important thing, you know, obviously fucking starting them for one, is to keep yourself accountable to something or to someone, right? And I was, you know, essentially, you know, on my own at that time. I had my mates, stuff like that. But I started to put my things up on social media. This is my runs. And you see I've been doing this for like 2 years. It's not to show... It started off with my psychologist as an accountability thing. That I'm going to put that up. You know, it's my little 4K run at this. People were going to me like, bro, why are you putting your 37th fastest run up? I'm like, man, it's not... you don't get it. It's not about that. It's about the accountability. It's about, as I say, showing up every day. And once you're accountable to that, it gives you a little kind of extra boost that it's like you're going to be one of those fucking talkers again. You've just started this, don't start something unless you're going to see it through, you know? So I guess for a procrastinator, it could be a perfect thing, or someone, you know? I have a lot of people that I'm mates with that use me as accountability, and they'll send me the pictures and at the gym, So if you're going to do it and get me to keep you accountable for it, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to make sure you are. And this morning go, you know, what's going on today? What's going on today? It's not a bad thing. It's good. If you can't do it yourself, and we most of us self-admittedly can't, do something or do it to someone or something that'll make you accountable. And for me, it was just doing it on social media and started to...
Almost have the opinion of, and I got in a bit of trouble telling my daughter this a little while ago, our oldest girl, like trying to have to motivate. And like my wife's like, motivate. I'm like, well, I'll just tell her, you don't want it. You don't want to do this. It's pretty clear. So stop.
Otherwise you'd be doing it.
And it didn't go down well. But I can see how you probably got to be a little bit different with kids.
100%.
But I'm also the opinion of, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah, that's
well, you're wasting my time and yours.
Yeah.
So cool. That's fine. We're done here. Yeah. And I got no ill feeling towards you, but you just don't want this, and I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
But you know, with kids, it's obviously a little bit different. You got to navigate that a bit more, and I've learnt that. Yeah. But I'm saying with people like this, I really want to do this, and I'm saying with like all the stuff I have to do for what I do with my work and with this, and you got to want to do it, or it just won't happen.
Yeah,
it literally won't happen.
No, it definitely won't. You know, like you know, you've got the fucking goals. You've got the motivation.
And New Year's is the worst for this. New Year's is the pits.
Definitely, man. Yeah, of course it is. You know, like the excuses, like you said, old mate's birthday, this and that. Yeah. But you've got all these things in place. But what you are missing is the most pivotal point of this: massive fucking action.
Yeah.
Doing. You know. So again, to the point about failure and stuff like that. how many people do you see that tell you what they're going to do? I'm going to do this, and New Year, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, da da da. Like you said with the veganism or carnivore, or whatever, you're pigeonholing yourself. So anything less than what you're telling me is a failure to you, and it's just going to fuck you even more.
Yeah. And you're going to douse the bottle on the
Don't
flames.
talk, just do. Show me what you've done. Don't tell me what you're doing.
Yep.
You're going to do. Show me what you've done. You know what I mean? And that way, it's like I always say, it's like, I just want to do it. Just be it. And then that is you. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I hold myself, accountable, and at fucking 4:00 tomorrow morning, if you knock on my fucking door, I'll be answering the door, gleam and ready to go. Don't be fake to yourself, because you can be fake to everyone else, but you've got to live with it, and so just be it, whatever that is, and then show everyone what you've done after it. And that's what I try and be an advocate for, day to day, and just continue it, man. Like, when's it going to stop? When are you going to be satisfied? Like, you can't. Like, that's the main thing as well. Like, doesn't matter what you do, and it's not like not enjoying things that you do, or you might get this podcast to like 1 million people. If you're driven like you are, and you have been doing this, you're going to go, okay, cool. We're going to keep going. There's always room to grow. There's no finish line. No, there's none. And for many of us, it's really hard to accept that, because we all want, like, the major the main thing when people ask
coughing
you,
here, bro.
I was about to burp.
You can't.
Actually.
It's too trying times.
About to burp, sorry. Yeah. The main thing people ask you, like, when's your cheat day? When's your rest day? Yeah. When's the, fuck, you've been fucking cheating for years, bro. You know what I mean?
I used them all up earlier, about 15 years worth.
So it's, you just got to earn. You got to earn your stripes, so to speak, and then. Once you've got there, it's the maintenance, like I said, because the momentum's been created, it's easier to keep it going. Like a plane taking off. It takes so much energy to take it off, but when you're cruising the sky, it's fucking sweet. You just got to bunker down and go through, the hell, and it still gets shit at times, but it's not as shit as it was when you first started. So just keeping that momentum going.
I feel like a lot of people also walk around life not even necessarily unhappy with where they are, but that they want to be somewhere, and they're not even on the trajectory heading there.
Correct.
Because even if you aren't where you want to be, or I don't think anyone ever is exactly where they want to be, but if you aren't where you want to be, if you're at least working towards that, it probably releases a whole lot of angst in your life. But if you're not even on that ladder, then that's what a lot of people walk around with not even trying. I don't care if it's, baby steps or even the smallest of steps. At least if you're working towards that, you can be doing it, because every day, granted, you're never going to be working perfectly towards your same goal every single day.
Of course not.
And obviously, I'm pretty bad at it. Like, if I'm not, I know where I want to be, and I know what I want to be doing. And some days I'm not even, I barely even make a step. Sometimes it's 3 steps backwards, and I probably get down on myself a little bit. I'm like, oh, fuck, now you're even further away from it. Or you haven't really shown up for this day. And that's what my internal angst is throughout the whole day. And a lot of it comes from probably just not showing up.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then when you don't show up and get what you're meant to get done, the whole day I spend, I'm like, oh.
And then just accepting it on the other side is just accepting that today's shit, and like we said, the next day you get to try again. And being in touch with that and knowing that it's like, okay, I fucked up today. Okay, is it a write-off? I've still got time for today. It's, what can I do to mitigate this now?
Yeah, so you go for a run at 10 at night.
I have, 100%. I've done more than that, just you have to. Or you start again, and it's a new day, it's a new leaf, and it's
don't fuck up twice. Nah, man, just get it done the next day.
That's the thing. What I always try and advocate for. Like, you can never truly fucking rule yourself out or give up, because at the end of the day, everyone else can give up on you, but it's not truly until you give up on yourself that it's fucking over. Until then, man, it's 100%. It's not fucking over, bro. It could be. It could have been for me massively, and I'm lucky that I had that epiphany, I guess, to realize that I'm not fucking done yet, And
we're still very young too, like, and
well, I just turned 34 last week on the 11th. So and I feel 10 times better than I did when I was 24. You know what I mean? Like, you can always do better, and you'll amaze yourself how much better that you feel for taking the step. But it's just taking that first step, man. It's like, fuck, where do I start? Just start. Just start, whatever it is,
Start, walk around the block.
That's it. So
up until this everything happened with all this bloody corona and everything
Yeah.
like this. What was your year looking like moving forward? Do you set yourself now?
Yeah.
Use your races as things to work around, or is it even the races even matter to you? Or
Well, no, the race doesn't. The races, they matter because it's an environment that it can conduct something that
Yep.
you know I see as growing myself physically and mentally. But you know, that's one thing I realise as well. Like, we wait so many times for things that we can just, if you really want to do it, just fucking do it. You know, today, some certain things, you know, you're going to do in the environment, you know, where you've got all the amenities and stuff catered towards you. You know, obviously some things are pretty stupid to fucking do on your own if you don't have any experience in it.
Yeah.
The year for me, I've got a book. You know, I was in Langkawi, Malaysia for Chrissy with my family, and usually, you know, around New Year's Eve, I'll sit down and write. Even before I started, you know, I was working on my 2012 goals still, you know, 2016. You know, I still was doing that before. So again, it takes, you know, you got to break a few eggs to make that fucking omelette. And I was writing these goals down for years, never getting towards fucking half of them because I just get back on the piss. You know, so last year, the year before, I sat down and wrote, you know, what I wanted to do, you know, little things from like pay off 50% of my debt, because last year it was pay off all of my debt. And that was a bit too ambitious, and I've realised that. Yeah. So anything from, you know, pay off a significant portion of my debt to I want to run a 100-mile race this year, to I want to do a full Ironman, to I want to, you know, be the best sales manager in the state at the end of the year. Anything, you know, whatever, big or small, whatever, you know. And the feeling you get when you cross those off, man, I can show you the year before. And not only did I cross those off, I fucking wrote shit on there that I didn't even know that was going to be on there, you know. So these are just a brief guideline of where you want to go. You want to be trying to smash the vast majority of them and being expected to not smash a lot of them as well, you know, because we all change and directions change. And sometimes you just don't feel like doing that path, but you need to do something to fill that time in that you were going to do with that goal. So it's important. The bar can change, but there's always going to be a bar there to kind of reach towards, you know. So I guess for me was, I got back in January and I just kind of look online for, you know, ultra marathons or shit that's hard. Like, I did a race where you run around on a 500 meter loop for 12 hours. It's called Dusk Till Dawn. It starts at 6 at night in Caboolture, and you run around in a circle. For 12 hours, and you see how far you can get, right? It sounds fucking shit. And it was even shitter than it sounds. It was the worst weather. It was fucking shit. And a lot of people are like, why the fuck are you doing that? But it's not, like I said, it's not the run around circles. It's what it does to your character. You know, to go through something like that, you're gone through enough ups and downs that most people go through in like 2 years. You've done that in 12 hours. You know, you've broken through these physical and mental barriers that you never even thought that you could get to. And what happens on the other side of that 12 hours? You come out a different person. You come out a person that's grown. You know what I mean? So then what do you do with that?
Those I had a mate that did one of those in New Zealand. And he won the first. It was one of the ones where you go every hour. Wow. It might have been 5K every hour.
6K or something,
something every hour. And he's a pretty good runner. Like, he's not a red hot runner. Like, he's not he's not winning big races, but he's run reasonably well. He won the first 3 laps, and he's like, man, I'm killing it. And it's like, these guys are just dawdling. They're like barely even moving. He goes, oh, I'm killing it. And then 4th lap came. He's like, oh, it started to get close. I started to fatigue in my legs. I think he might have lasted 7 laps or something. And then he was done. But he's like, I won 4 of them. He's like, but that's not the point. No, you got to keep going till the last man standing. He's like, and then he goes, once I got to that lap and I was fatigued, he's like, I realised why they were like coming in with like 5 minutes to spare. And he came in, he's like, mate, I came in with 20 minutes to spare, piece of cake.
And then just do it again.
And then he do it again. He's like, oh, I'll do this all day. And he's
coming out a bit too hot.
He came out real hot. And he I think he probably knew. I don't know what he was thinking, but it was. I remember him telling me about it, and I thought, oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
man. And that's the thing that I've personally been drawn to, is these things, like whether it's, you know, I'm not a swimmer, a runner, a fucking cyclist. I'm doing it for my, you know, obviously for fitness, and that fitness makes me feel good, and makes my brain function better, and also it helps me to grow. You know, I grow as a person. You know, and I go, once you push, like, you open these doors in your head that you never knew even existed. You know, and what that can lead you to is just, you know, you don't know where it can go. You know, I don't, you know, and how much I get intrigued by that is what keeps me coming back. You know, so.
There's especially when you go in those bad times, you know, when they come up again. Yeah. I've been here before. I got through this. I got through that. I'll do this. It's just because I think so many people stop at those bad times as well. Probably me included. Like at those bad times, you think, "Oh, I've never been here before. This is unknown.
Yep.
I can't do this because I haven't been here."
Yep.
And once you get through that, on the other side of that is what you never knew you could do.
Exactly right. And again, it goes to what meaning you allow your brain to believe in that moment where you say, "I can't do this. I haven't been here before."
Yeah.
The sensations like mine would be pain, soreness. Yeah. Usually, since from an early age, you translate the sensation of pain to mean bad, to mean negative. You know, keep burping, mate. That's soda
too much sparkling water. Yeah,
too much sparkling. But again, you can train yourself to translate that sensation to mean growth and mean positive things. It takes a fucking long time, and I struggle with it all the time too. But you have that ability, and that's why the mind's so fucking powerful, man. And what we were talking about before, like, it's so easy to have your mind molded for you. Yeah. If you don't work on it yourself. Yeah. If you don't do push-ups and work out, what happens? You get fat, you get slobby. What do you think happens to your mind? It's exactly the same. Yeah. So you've got to work on that every day. Yeah. You know, whether it be listening to podcasts or like books, audio books, constantly listen to things to help try and strengthen that mind and activate that mind. Otherwise, if you don't mold your own mind, there's a fucking lot of people out there that will mold it for you. Yeah, yeah. And they want to take your money and they want to take your fucking
Because the easiest thing to do is to listen to music and switch off.
Yeah.
You know, the easiest thing to do is come home, sit on the couch
and watch TV. And what does the TV do? You might think that you switch off, but you're engaging in useless thoughts because you're thinking about what you're watching. Yeah. So you're using that time and you're still thinking. You might think you've switched off, but you're just engaged into the rubbish that you're watching. Yeah. And it's just wasting time.
Fuck, I can watch some rubbish.
Yeah, that's why my TV at home's not hooked up to the aerial, man. Like once me and the missus split up, we ended up getting back together, thank fuck, after a very, very long time. She's like, "Oh, the TV doesn't work." And I'm like, "Yeah, it fucking won't either." Like it works for YouTube and Netflix and stuff that I can choose, but man, I'll get sucked into watching that Married at First Sight and fucking pretend that I don't fucking, this is shit. And then you just like, let's go. You get sucked in because, you know, the block. Like I used to be a tradie and I'm sitting here fucking getting home from a 10-hour shift, watching fucking some bloke renovate a bathroom for fucking 3 hours and then go to bed, probably dream about it and then go back there. Like it just...
Don't get into Tiger King. Is it Tiger King?
Tiger King.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, you watch it. You'll be hooked. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. Right. It's great. It's about the exotic pets in the States.
No way.
Exotic tigers. And it's like a reality show where they follow... It's like they're all infighting with each other, and they're not good, and they're trying to knock each. It's great.
No way. What's it called?
Tiger King.
King.
It's great. Wow. If you get downtime, you'll get some downtime next. Watch it.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's so good.
Wow.
There's a gay hillbilly dude who's got 2 husbands. Oh, it's so good.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's the best, and he's a country singer too.
Beautiful. Oh, I'll have to get into it.
It's the best. I got 3 more episodes to go. Sorry, where were we?
Yeah, about switching off and about thoughts and your mind and you know we're constantly bombarded with this, you know, information that, you know, we don't really have time to think and kind of build our own thoughts because we've already, you know,
meditation probably comes into that as well.
Yeah, well, I've only just started. You know, it was one of my goals. I wanted to do 3 meditations a week this year. You know, I've struggled with that. You know, I did one this morning. I did one about 3 days ago. Then I went like a week without it, you know. Yep. I've just downloaded the Calm app. Yep. That's it. I don't know how to meditate yet. So I'm trying to learn how to, you know what I mean? And then I can get deeper and deeper into it. But I just know it's important to get present. And, you know, if you've got like, you think about the past and the future, but we always think of either or and really don't focus on what, you know, is important right now, you know what I mean? Because essentially the future is just a lot of steps of present moments. So we never really get to the future because we're living it every fucking second. Yep. So just trying to still your mind. And then, you know, things like what's happening at the moment, you know, should mitigate some more excuses of people that don't have time to work on themselves or ideas or... If I had enough time, I'd be a better parent and do this. Maybe it can, you know, it can take those. I like to be an advocate and try and take as many excuses as I can away for people in order to go, You know, I know. Yes. Yeah. Yep, I know. Because
they're the easiest things to do.
Yeah, you know. And
I was speaking with Jace before and saying like doubling down on getting some good stuff out, like with these podcasts and working towards those things, and because there'll be the people that will sit at home and do nothing with this time.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's cool by me.
Yeah.
Because I won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
And you won't be. You know, like you got to find a way to get through it. And my goal, I think, is to be better on the other side of it and try and, you know, have everything together, because not very often, well, never does this happen. Yeah. Never does, you know, are we granted this sort of time that we can work towards what we need to work towards, or things we had in our mind, and it can go like that. You remember school holidays when you were a kid? Yeah, they used to go so quick. Yeah, because you just wasted your time.
You're like, I've got fucking 5 weeks left. Yeah, neck minute. Fucking back to school.
Yeah, back to school. Uniform on. You're like, what'd you get up to on the holidays?
Yeah,
nothing.
Fuck all.
Yeah, fuck all.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But and also like, it's funny if we're going to talk about what's going on to a degree. I don't want to get too far into it, but what is being deemed by the people that are in power, as essential activities and essential things, right? And it's funny that you'll see that essential, places that are open are bottle shops. Yeah. So we know you don't have fuck all money to spend because you've all lost your jobs, but we'll keep the bottle shops open so you can drink and have less money to spend on the family that you don't really have. And you can go to the servo and get your favourite pack of fucking Marlboro Reds and smoke them. That on the packet says that it fucking kills you. And this virus that's around is a respiratory virus. It's killing people with fucking emphysema that probably smoked for 40 fucking years. But we all freak out at times like this, where many of us have been committing spiritual suicide for fucking years, man. Yeah. For years. It's just a slower death. Yeah. You know, I saw a dude today with a mask on his fucking head and a ciggy hanging out of his mouth out the front of Elk in Broadbeach, and I fucking lost it. I'm like, you know, this is where we're at, man. Like,
but gyms are closed.
This is what I was going to say. But gyms are closed. Yeah. So you can't do all that. But the gym's closed. Yeah. God forbid you work out. And if we talk about this, you're talking about wild animals on Tiger King or whatever. I was thinking about today, not to get too deep or whatever, but we're humans, and what happens to a caged animal? And you cage that animal, it loses its whole sense of being, and it just does whatever the fuck you tell it to fucking do, because you're going to feed it. You know, I believe that humans, there's two things we're meant to do. We're meant to fuck to make more humans, and we're meant to move. Yeah. We're meant to move, whether that's hunting, moving, doing something, you know. We're not meant to be confined into small spaces. So what I think the flip side, if you don't work on your mind and work on yourself at times of crisis like this, you know, unfortunately, it's just going to be a hell of a lot more detrimental to yourself. And also, like, with obesity and things like that, and being caged down, not being able to exercise, I heard a thing the other day that said, and you never see an overweight animal unless it's fed by humans. Yes, correct. Which is crazy to think, because they're free and they're out there, and especially in the wild, you don't see it overweight. They never eat to excess. Yeah, they just eat. I can't think of one anyway. I tried thinking of one at the time. I mean, I'm sure if there's enough food. I mean, you look at whales and things like that. Well, that's exactly well, I don't know. Maybe they're shredded for whales. Who knows? God knows. I've never seen a fat whale. That'd be interesting to see. But, you know, like it's that trying to contain, and in this hard time, everyone's going to have to try and temper the way they are. Yeah. Well, they'll play, or a lot of other people will play the victim's role and say, poor me, and why did this happen to me? And, it's how you look at things. You know what I mean? I mean, there are some victims for sure. 100%, we there's some victims. No, I don't disagree. You know what I mean? There's some massive amounts of victims. I think it's horrible. I'm not saying that this is a farce or anything. Yeah. Any two ways about it. There's a fucking problem. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, it shouldn't take a massive problem like this for us to realise what is important to us. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're right. Yeah. What's important to you is your fucking own health and well-being every single fucking day. So every time you're stuffing that fucking drumstick in your mouth and smoking those ciggies and doing all that shit, you're slowly killing yourself anyway. One's just a quicker death. I'd rather be gone quicker than fucking 40 years down the track. And then what happens? You're going to take all your family is going to have to come on for that fucking ride that you chose to go on, you know? And not only that, we're an advocate for our kids, right? So 9 times out of 10, like my parents didn't smoke. I grew up, I wasn't a smoker. You know, some people probably would be, you know. Yeah. But we can't, and like you said about, you know, it's hard to try and talk to kids. And we must know that they're their own people, and they're going to think their own things, and they're going to do their own things, and whatever makes them happy, we're going to accept. You know, we can't control that. But all we can do is show them and show everyone around us that we love what a good life looks like, and in the hope that they follow in our footsteps. You know what I mean? And that's happening in my life. My mum lost 20 odd kilos. She goes to the gym. She's 70 fucking years old in June, and she goes to the gym 6 days a fucking week, 7 sessions a week. No shit.
Nice.
She snapped her fucking wrist trying to do a box jump last year. Had to get surgery on it, bro. No joke, man. And people wonder where I get it from, you know?
Yeah.
But if you want change, be the change. So, yeah, that's how I think that we're kind of geared as a society to kind of just be told what to think to a degree. Some people, you know, there's a vast majority of people out there that are doing great things, and I don't think I'm doing anything great. I'm just doing me. Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to compete with
be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I can never fail.
Yeah.
You know, and unless I go back to what I was doing 2 years ago, which I just, because my mind's been expanded to this new idea and thought, it just can't happen at the moment.
Yeah.
It just won't. And I've seen it happen this year to a mate that I was running with every Sunday. We do our long run. He was in jail for about 10 years, off and on, addicted to meth, shooting up meth. Yeah, heavy, man. I met him at the pool, started going for a run and stuff like that. You know, 2 kids, missus, everything like that. And, you know, things went south with the missus, and then, you know, bang, back on it. Back straight from 0 to 100, straight back, you know.
He's on it now.
On it now. Yep, 100% on it now, you know. And that only just happened this year, you know. You know, so to ever think that you're too far away from your old habits, you know, that's just, you know.
It's scary.
Really, yeah.
It's almost like a walking billboard for you, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. Yep. So, and it's sad, but, you know, and I tried to help, you know, but like I said, you can't help. You can just show and hope that they follow in the footsteps.
Yeah.
And just keep showing that, you know, hopefully one day he goes, yeah, righto, I'm going to make the change again, you know.
Shows how easy it is. It's always there, isn't it?
Always there, man.
Always
it's still always there, you know. Especially if you got shit diets, you got fucking KFC, Red Rooster. Everything's always going to be there, but it's about.
It's never been easier.
No.
To fuck up at the moment.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah.
Right, you and me could drive right now.
Yeah,
Get
definitely.
anything we need to, anywhere we want to, you know.
100%.
Which is the scary part of it too.
That
so
is
the temptation's always knocking on your door.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
So.
I guess when you just get so still in your mind that you don't need those temptations, that's where you want to be, and obviously it's where you're at.
Yeah, in the first place, it starts with the 3 Ps: people, places, things. You know.
Yeah.
People you're hanging around, the places that you are, and the things.
That's
that
2
you're
Ps
doing.
and a T.
Is it? Oh, sorry, 2 Ps and a T. Fuck, mate. Well, just for the record,
you got to stop using that quote.
Just for the record, I didn't finish grade 11. I repeated, and I got asked to leave.
I don't want to pull you up, but I know people pull you up in the comments. So you got to
places, things. So there isn't even an analogy for that, if that's what it is.
Yeah, PPT.
Anyway. People, places, things.
Yeah.
Cliff taught me that. Sorry, mate. I butchered the fuck out of it. But if you change those 3 things, you'll change your life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, like you said, the people that you're hanging around, you've got to change that if you want to make a change. The places that you are, nightclubs, fucking drug dealers' houses, fucking the pokey room, whatever.
Yeah.
Change that to positive, and the things that you're doing, you know. Moving, running, reading, doing. You know, you just change those 3 things. It seems so simple, but that'll drastically change your life.
So is this time now, for someone like yourself, is this going to present a challenge for you to not have necessarily something to focus forward on?
I've always got something to focus forward on. So that's the thing. I mean,
with cancellations of short-term goals you have along the way, race-wise.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do Ironman at Port Macquarie May 3rd. That's just been cancelled. So I'm in the throes of whether I'm going to just go down there and do it anyway on my own, you know, because I've got the accommodation book. I don't know yet. Or do I just wait? Can I deal with just waiting and have something else?
Just do an Ironman.
Yeah, or just do an Ironman on my own. So what that looks like, you know, will soon to be, to be seen.
Have you done an Ironman yet?
No, I haven't. No, I've never done a full distance Ironman. No, I did a 70.3 last year. And this again, like, people are probably listening to this, like, they've done 10 Ironmans and fucking, that's mad, right?
Yeah.
But for me, at the moment, this is massive, right?
Oh, mate.
When I first made the change, it's massive, yeah. But when I first made the change, I still remember when I, like, thought about doing this triathlon, and I fucking looked it up, and then it had all the distances.
Yep.
Like sprint, Olympic, this, and then Ironman at the bottom. I'm like, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 years ago. Now I can do it.
Yeah.
I believe that I can do it, and I know I can do it, so it's just about that time. So that was just one of my goals, man. Like, last year I didn't do it. I wanted to do it in Langkawi, Malaysia, and it was either take my family on a holiday or do the Ironman. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to think about others.
Yes.
And I took my family on a holiday to Langkawi.
Yeah.
In December.
Did you watch it?
No. It was on in October. But you know, you got to be willing to go, okay, it's not going to happen right now, but it will happen as long as you know it's going to happen. So this is going to be cancelled for now, but it'll happen at some stage. So in the interim, I think it's just important to wake up and do things essentially that you might not want to do every day. And for me, that's physical activity.
Because if you keep showing up doing those things, the races will come back in again.
It's going to lead to something.
Yeah, it's going to lead
It's
to something.
It's going to have to lead to somewhere, man.
So I feel sorry for some of the people who just have this focus, like this, talking about pushing the Olympics out a year.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, and they work towards, these guys have such a dedicated plan.
Yep.
Like almost back engineered to today. Yep. They know exactly what they were doing every day up until that point.
Yeah.
And that's where it's a dangerous point where you got to have that self-discipline.
Yeah. Or you just go, right back to where you were before you started, man. And that's how I used to end up after every fight that I had.
Yeah.
Week later, I was fucking probably 10 times worse off than before I started the fight camp 6 weeks before, So I think, that was a turning point as well, coming out the other side of the last fight that I had and getting back to where I was, physically and mentally and being as fit as I possibly I had ever been in my life. And then just saying, well, what if I don't do what I usually do? Let's just experiment and see what happens,
Yeah.
And this is what happened.
You did a 100K run.
Yeah, I've done 3 of them.
Did you win it?
I won one of them,
Won one of them?
Yeah, won one of them.
You've got something in your mind, some strange thing in your mind that would enable you to go from 2 years to winning 100K. Because I just look at the people who are competitive, the people you beat, what were they doing 2 years ago?
They were still doing ultra marathons, yeah.
So there's some sort of switch
in
between, you know what I mean? Like it's whether you're one of the people who were fortunate enough to maybe have that, a natural ability to be able to push yourself.
Yeah.
And then all you needed was a kick in the ass and a mental kick in the ass to get yourself that further along. Yeah. You probably don't believe that. You probably believe it's all hard work, which I sort of believe to a point too.
I believe that it is hard work will win when the talent's having a rest day.
Yeah.
Like they say. You know? So at one point, it's unfathomable that I did win it. But at another point, it's like you hang around the barbershop long enough, you'll get a fucking haircut.
Yeah.
You keep showing up. You've been showing up every day for a year and a half. And like I said, some days you're on, some days you're not. And I was on, man. Like the lady that comes second overall, she beat her time by the previous year by an hour.
Shit,
And I beat her by half an hour. I beat the second place male by 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, wow.
Because I wasn't competing against them. I was competing against me.
So you reckon that's the secret?
Hey?
You reckon that's the secret?
I don't think that's a secret all the time. I mean, I think that anything of longevity comes from an internal fuel source, right?
Big time.
You can get through matches, races from external fuel sources. External being like, I'll fucking prove these people wrong and I'll fucking show them.
Yeah.
That'll last and give you a little boost that you need for a period of time. But when you've got that burning desire from within to succeed, that's all you're focused on.
That's not enough for an ultra marathon.
Well, I mean,
the all proven one. That'll probably get you through 10K.
It's definitely not. And what I was running on is the what if aspect. What if I can fucking do this, and not ruling myself out because, I've experienced it before, and I don't know whether anyone can relate. That sometimes you lose the race or the fight before you even fucking show up to the start line or get in the ring. You've lost it, and deep down when you break it down afterwards. Yeah, I knew I was going to lose that,
Yeah.
So it's about just going in again with an open mind and just saying, let's see how we feel today.
Yeah.
And I surprised the fuck out of myself that day.
That's awesome. It's cool that it came down to just the fact that you showed up every day for 2 years and then that's what the result was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't you were this, beast of a guy who was in a lab and had this massive coach who coached him in, and you peaked for this race and had the proper taper and all that sort of jazz.
And this is the thing, man. This is what the things, we don't need anything like the shoes, this. Everyone had tents and fucking support crew. I had the fucking Ford Ranger ute backed up at the start finish line, the tailgate down with a couple of bottles of water and an esky full of food, and that was it. And the missus rocked up in the last lap with a pizza from Crust. No shit. Yeah. That's all you need. I had a backpack on with a water bottle stuffed in it.
Yep.
I was at a race. I did a 52 K1 called Hare and Hounds in I think January, just after I got back. And I rocked up. It was muddy in that, so I wore the old shoes that I'd done about 1,500 Ks on them. These things were fucked. And I was standing in line, and a bloke, this Kelvin, is a well-established ultra runner, like done about 400 ultra marathons, like a guru of a bloke.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're gonna fucking run in them. You're gonna fucking run in them." Everyone, the 40 people that were there at 2:30 in the morning to start this race, looked down at my shoes, and in a moment, if I wasn't so, didn't give a fuck what they think, I could have felt embarrassed and felt insecure, and I just thought immediately, I'm like, "Fuck, bro. You really think it's the fucking shoes that's going to get me anywhere here, Yeah. And I kind of chuckled and just said, "Man, we'll see how we go, eh?"
Yeah.
I got third, I got lost twice, so I was coming first. But, you can take that with a grain of salt. It's your mind that gets you anywhere. I run the thing barefoot and backwards. I'm still going to get the same result,
Yeah.
So, it's just about showing up. And then on the flip side, man, I won that 100K in 13 hours and 26 minutes. Did that 12-hour race, right?
Yeah.
You think I get pretty, far along. I did 100K on the road, just in a 6K loop in 12 hours and 30 minutes. So
on a 6K loop?
On a 6K loop at Runaway Bay. That was the first 100K I've ever done. I did that before I did a marathon.
What was that? Was that a race?
It was called the Gold Coast 100, at Runaway Bay Sports Complex, and you run on a 6K track. And there's no cutoff. You just got to get 100Ks. That was the most brutal thing I've ever done, and I can always call back on that as like, not running a marathon, not doing anything like that, and to do that from, just going to give up and just going, there's no fucking way I can do it. And then doing it and going, well, what the fuck happened in that space? I can't do it till I'm doing it, So, sorry, mate, forget where I was. So then winning that race, you're like, fuck yeah, I've won, and then you're going to expect that of yourself every time. Yeah. That's when you're going to let yourself down. So then the 12-hour one I did, I got 83.76 Ks. Not even, and I say not even a double marathon distance, but I'd done 112 and a half hours. So you think that after doing it for another year, and someone even said that, like, let me get this right. Like, you only did this and I'm like, yeah, man, I was having a shit day. Like, but then I think about it, I'm like, man,
beer and Skittles every day,
but
mate,
I did it. You know what I mean? So you just got to be real with yourself and realize that every day is different, every race is different, or every podcast is different. And just take it.
I think a lot of what I get from you is the fact that it's the non-expectation counts for a lot. Like if you're expecting not results, you're expecting just what you can gain from it, and you never lose.
No. Never. And the winning is
either win or you lose or you learn. No, win or you learn. Yeah,
well, the thing is, if you just keep turning up every day, one day you're going to have a good day. I've gone weeks and months at shit and have just sucked. And then one day I'm not even feeling that good. Bang, I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's like you said, the little deposits.
The deposits,
the little dollar that you put in every day.
Big time.
But we don't want to put the dollar in. We want to put 1,000 in. I'm going to save 1,000 of this pay and fucking 500 of that pay, and then bang, I've got fucking nothing. So it's just about the little things every single day, I think.
So what have you got? You seem to me like someone who has something that's dangling. You've got an Everest race.
Well, I think that back a couple of years ago, the Everest race was the Ironman to do that. So
that's something you're pretty comfortable you can achieve. Just given the opportunity,
I know that I can do it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, I believe so too.
Yeah, I know that I can do it. I might. If something happens, like injury, something fucks out and you're fucked. Like again, if you just give up and then you give an excuse, you're gonna have to live with it. I know I can do it. And you can't hold yourself to times and stuff like that, which is hard to do because everyone wants to know what time you did. It's just what you know. If you don't know anything about it, what time did you do? Has no relevance to you because you got no idea, but it's just what you say.
I'd relate. I know the guys do, the fast guys do it, the professionals do around 8 hours.
Yeah, about 8 hours.
So you go off 13, you're like, oh, geez, you're 5 hours behind.
Yeah, but then you're going to hold yourself. So I kind of just go, look, if I'm having a good day, I'd like to do it in like 10 hours or something like that, or a shit day, fuck 30. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to hold myself to anything because I've never done one before. Yeah. So
takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, man. And after you do things, then you can kind of go, right, I was on that day, so I could do that or I could do better, So, do that, man. And I think it's just, I kind of just work on, if I see it, I'll do it. Like these races that I've entered, man, like that 100K that I won, I entered on the Wednesday, it was on the Saturday. You know what I mean? I tapered with a fucking hour and a half strength and conditioning session the night before. Yeah. And my mate James Malatich will concur with that, Same with the 12-hour race, man. We did a full leg session the night before the race. Yeah. And I rocked up the start line and thought, you know, my legs are a bit sore, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse, you know. Some people it works for them, some people it doesn't. That's what I said. I can never tell anyone. I can only say what's worked for me and what I do, you know, what everyone does with that, you know. And what I eat everything. I don't discriminate. I'll fucking eat fucking animals. I'll eat vegetables. I'll eat whatever. And that works for me. Yeah. You know, what works for you works for you. What works for you might not work for me. So as long as you don't judge people for what they choose to do, and you can suggest, hey, you should try this or try that. A lot of people want me to... I get asked a lot of questions, which I love. I love talking to people and helping out as much as I can. But a lot of people know the answer to the questions, you know, but they want to know about the shoes and, you know, what kind of, you know, style do I do or this and that. When really, basically, it comes down to, you know, the shit that you should be doing that you're not fucking doing. Yeah. Just do that. Yeah. You know, basically. And you know it, you know, but... You want to procrastinate and ask when I get the new shoes, I want to get the new bike. You got to earn that stuff, so you got to start first and then worry about it later. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's the big. Everyone wants the mod cons.
Yeah, of course.
I'll be the same. If I'm going to run, I'm like, oh, I better get shoes. I better get a bike.
Exactly.
Instead of getting up there and getting it done.
Well, you start and then you earn it, kind of. You know what I mean? Because again, it's not about what equipment you've got. It's about you know, the desire to want to do it, and all that stuff will come once you've earned it. You know.
So the triathlon's a sport you're sort of staying on?
Well, not really. I've just been training like triathlon. Like I've done, I'm not really, don't have a burning desire to do any like ambitions to do Olympic distance triathlons. Like I wanted to. I've done three, I think, and I'm cool with it. I'm comfortable with it. Like I got a good time. I went back and got one back on this first race that I tried and fully miserably failed when my tyres popped and everything. And I'm happy with that. And I can do a triathlon on the fucking weekend now. So at one point, that was my Everest, and this is the thing. So I'm not a triathlete. I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to do shit that's hard in order to grow myself. Yeah. So that always constantly changes, you know.
Have you looked at any races in that, like adventure races?
I've heard about it. I haven't looked any like in depth.
I don't do many. I'm not an adventure racer, but I know a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them around.
Yeah, I've seen a heap of them, man.
There's some heavy ones.
Yeah, they look mad. So you know. There's
one I told Tan and Lyndon about. It's called God Zone in New Zealand.
Yeah, right.
Have a look at that one.
God Zone. I have to have a look at it after it. Yeah. So I'm open and
5 days. Yeah. They give you 5 to 10 days to do it.
Yeah, mad.
And it's just
sounds shit.
It's awful. It looks awful too.
So you know, I'm open to doing anything like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. At the moment, I'm just. It's like when I finished the last fight, I wanted to do that for myself, but on the flip side of that, I wasn't training for a fight anymore, but I knew I had to keep doing something every day to keep that going. So at the moment, I'm kind of in a holding pattern of I'm still pushing myself every day. You know, I'm still doing it, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I just stay fit, so I stay ready, so I have to get ready. I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try this. You know, and just kind of see where I go or what I feel like, you know. I'm like, you know, a lot of these long ones you say to yourself, I'm never fucking doing this again. It's shit, and that's what keeps you coming back. Yeah, you know,
it's like, weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, so I think I get something out of these really long and arduous things. Like, you know, the longer you go, sometimes the better you get. The better you feel, kind of thing. And I feel as though I start to tap into things within myself, you know, past that like kind of 12-hour mark. Yeah, it just gets into this real deep state of like, I don't know what it is, but you just
sort of like a flow state, like you sort of switch off and
you start listening to yourself and talking to yourself, and you're forced to be present because you're forced to put one foot in front of the other. So you're forced to truly live in the present. All you're doing is thinking about putting this in front of this and thinking about your breath. You're not thinking about the bills, you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about anything. You're thinking about what you're doing right now. And I think getting to that state of presence is I don't know, you get kind of a sense of contentment when you get there, because it puts everything into perspective, you know. And it's easy to get back in the real world, and then that gets overturned pretty quick. So I think it's important to keep trying to put yourself in those places that you can get present, and whatever that is, you know. I like to swim because it kind of, you know, the sensory deprivation of not being able to hear anything allows me to think. Get shit some days if I focus on that, but a lot of the time I get to think about what I want to do, and I can't be disrupted and stuff like that. So
with the also with the hard exercise that you do too, because you've done it in the morning, I think we spoke about it at the start there, you enter the day having had a release.
Yeah.
As well, so you can be a little bit more calm with people.
Yeah.
You can be, you can think a lot more clearly because you're like, I've done my deposit for the morning.
Yeah, and you've released all those endorphins and everything that you need to be doing as a human in some way, shape, or form, and it allows you to be start the day off on the front foot. Definitely does. I don't know about you, man, but I don't think I'm the most chipper fucking bloke when I wake up with a stinging hangover after a fucking 2-day piss bender.
Yeah,
it's I'm starting off on the back foot.
I can't do that sort of carry on.
Ah, come on, mate. Come on, mate.
If out by midnight, I'm done.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And you feel your kids would rather be hanging around you if you're tired from a training session. Yeah. Than hungover.
There's present, like I was present. I was there at home.
Yeah.
But being actually present, is two different things. I was there, but you weren't really giving them anything because you weren't even giving yourself.
You're just going through the motions.
You just were going through the motions, really.
Yeah.
And I was just lucky that everything kind of come crashing down when my daughter was quite young still. You know? 1 year old around that part. Like I was there, and I was but I wasn't. I was hungover as fuck. So
Yeah.
How am I going to treat anyone with any kind of worth? Really, if I can't treat myself, good. Some people might function all right on that, and if that is you, then this doesn't apply to you, and don't think that I'm having a shot at anyone that does get on the piss and do whatever, because that's your own choice. I mean, I'm an advocate for the people that need to hear this and the people that know that they've got something within themselves but they don't know where to start. Yeah. And I'll continue to spread that message, as far and wide as I can, man.
Well, that's I think, like I said at the start, your inspiration of a normal bloke.
Yeah.
Someone who can, a normal bloke that can do and look extraordinary things. Yeah. And winning an ultramarathon is not an ordinary thing.
Yeah.
And getting up every fucking morning at that time is not an ordinary thing, and afternoon, at night. Backing up too, that's the thing. That's another thing, because all you're doing is training. Start it again.
And picking my daughter up from kindy and putting her to bed and showering her and feeding her and making her breakfast.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the thing, man.
It's the day.
We can all do it, man. Yeah. We can all do it.
But a big thing is the excuses. Yeah. And for me as well, like I take a lot of, inspiration from it too, because I'm very, very good at excuses like everybody else. Yeah. And the only person you're letting down is yourself.
100%.
And not making those deposits.
If you can live with that, then that's all right. But many of us can't, and many of us know we want better. And the same thing, we're all in it together, man. We're all this community, like.
Yep.
What we all should be pushing each other and helping each other and to get to where we want to go. And anyone that's successful wants to bring other people up there with them. Yeah. Whatever you deem success is. You know what I mean? I mean, people that are trying to are happy when people lose fights or happy than this. It's again bringing something up within themselves. We all want to see people do good, and I think it's mad, man. And I love the community. That I've kind of created with everyone that I speak to on social media, yourself included. I'm like, how good's this opportunity to sit here and have a chat with you,
exactly,
and just start to kind of chop it down and speak our mind with no kind of rigid schedule, and just kind of go off and hopefully come up with something of substance that people are going to get something out of, which I think
a lot of people get a lot out of this.
Yeah, man,
we get the messages, and look, don't take any of your time. You got a training session to get to in the morning.
No, it's all good, brother.
But I appreciate you coming in and look, what you're doing, keep on keeping on, and if we can boost anything you're doing or help you in any way with what you're doing, we'd be happy to hear and book anything you got going or anything you want to push, let me know.
Yeah,
we're into
it. 100%. I really appreciate you guys having me, man. It's really good to meet you, and I'd love to come on again at some point.
Anytime, mate.
And break some more stuff down, mate.
Yeah,
maybe after all the shit's died down, mate.
Yeah, shit's died down. We might be locked in our houses for a few more weeks. But yeah, if you got anything to push, and maybe Kev you on after one of these big races, you can break down for us and let us know how it went. I'll be interested to know, because I love that stuff, that mental stuff. It's really intriguing. So
yeah, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Brother. Thank you very much, man.
Cheers.
Take it easy. We'll do the fist pump. See you later.